Boys channel. It is nice to be back with you. Today we'll be starting Human and Social Biology, Paper 1, General Proficiency. I don't really do a lot of papers in relation to HSB, but for today it will be quite different. So anyways, let's start without further ado. So I did answer up to question 10. We will answer the remaining questions up to question 60. But for today, we'll be answering question 1 to 60. So which of the following cell structure does photosynthesis take place? We don't already know that the cell structure whereby photosynthesis does take place is the chloroplast. It cannot be the powerhouse because the powerhouse is actually, or the mitochondrion, which is known as the powerhouse. We don't definitively know that it can be that. The Golgi body that's totally unrelated to photosynthesis, and the ribosome is just a part within the cell structures. So those three answers are out immediately. So let's look at this question here. And diffusion, I did discuss it in the last live stream. Diffusion is the actual spreading out or the condensation of a substance throughout the whole submergence of a water or a body of water. So I give you an example. If you actually put dye in a bottle of water, that dye will spread out throughout the whole water to say essentially. So we could get a basic justified idea from that. So in the human body, the process demonstrated in the diagram above occurred between alveoli and blood capillaries. That's where diffusion usually occurs. It cannot avoid in the trachea or the esophagus. It cannot really occur in the skin or the hair, and it cannot it could occur in the blood, but not the brain. So diffusion occurs in the alveoli and the capillaries. The alveoli is part of your the breathing or is part of the respiratory system, whereby the process of breaking down and spreading out essential proteins such as carbohydrates and these micromolecules are part of that where it actually spreads that out. So in the food chain, above the primary producer is the phytoplankton. The reason for this is that it holds the most power. So this is just an example. I know if you guys could see it on the screen, but this is an example of what we call a triangular diagram. So as we go up, power decreases. So at the bottom, we start off with the most power, which is the primary producer. And then at the second stage, that's the secondary, and then the tertiary producer. And as we go up, it gets the power dynamics get essentially decreases. So for here, it says item 5 refers to the following diagram showing a leaf from a discharged potted plant. The plant is exposed to sunlight for a few days and the leaf is removed and tested for starch. The color of the part labeled X would most likely be brown. As I said before, if like for example you take a leaf and you put that leaf in a container that is full with water and you put bleach, the color of the plant will become white, and it is not relation to that. Green. And we don't know that when we left plant on probably a tree, it remains green because it having the essential nutrients that it does need. So it says remove and test it for starch. The color of the part labeled X would most likely be brown. So if it exposed to light for a few days, we would usually see brown plants everywhere we walk. And the reason for that is because it is basically left without nutrients. And when a plant is left without nutrients, it develops a brown color. So let's read this. Item 67 refer to the following information of on body masses index BMI. Person I, height 145, weight 36, and BMI 17, I 1.55, etc. You guys could basically see it. So it says here the BMI categories are as follows: underweight 18.5, normal weight 18.5 to 24.9, overweight 25 to 29.9, obese you would probably be around 30. So which of the following persons considered overweight? I believe it's very easy because if you look at it 25 to 29, and if you look at I here, we have 27, right? No, let me see. Yes, overweight. 25 to 29. The person to be overweight in this category is here. I. That's the only answer you could presumptuously get. So just have to read the question properly. So the answer for this part here is I, and we did say that OP is been around 30. Let me see if they ask any question like that. The person in the normal weight category, normal weight, they said the normal weight is 18.5 to 24.9. That's right here. The normal weight would be right here. So the answer for this is the 54 category. Hopefully, you guys could see that. So, which of the following diseases is caused by a lack of vitamin A, night blindness, and which of the following is used to test for sugar and cereals? That is Benedict solution. Water is required by all living things in order to transport substances. Without water, you cannot transport substances or essential substances through the body. And without water in general, that could lead to overall of deaths in the entire world. So, diarrhea most likely tends to, is what question 11, leads to dehydration because your body's not getting the essential nutrients that it needs, basically to say. Um, a sample of pepsin taken from the stomach will not function in the small intestine because of what options do we have there? Small intestine has a different pH from the stomach. That's something that you need to note. A sample of pepsin taken from the stomach will not function in the small intestine because the small intestine has a higher alkalinic solution in comparison to the pH in the stomach. So if you look at the pH scale, we don't know that here is zero and up. It has a scale of 0 to 14. I probably can't get to write it exactly well, but from 0 to 14, if you look at that, we take 0 to 14 into consideration. The the basically basicity or alkalinity is around 4, while the pH level, at least for the stomach, is at least around 9 to 14. So that's something we could basically take into consideration. So they have a different pH entirely, and that is what will probably result in the overall situation. So the answer for this is D. If you guys have anything different, you could tell me in the comments below. So where are we now? 13. The part labeled Y is responsible for the digestion of, this one is very simplistic. Protein. Part label Y. That is usually for a transport of protein. If you guys have anything else different, you could tell me in the comments. It cannot be fats, cannot be sugar, and it cannot be starch. So we will leave it with that for now. So, which of the following foods is an excellent source of protein? That would be the liver. Liver is an excellent source of protein. We usually eat protein all the time. People say, "Do you eat liver?" I say yes, and it's an excellent source of protein for that reason. Which of the following structures of the tooth provides a surface for biting and crushing foods? This one is the crown. The crown is the biggest structure of the teeth. It's something like this here. It's basically very big and it's used for crushing foods. The all of these other terms are unrelated. Matter of fact, all these rest of the terms don't even make sense. The root that doesn't make sense in that case. The cement is basically the thing that makes your teeth stay where it is, or it makes your teeth have stability. And the pulp cavity is a thing like it's basically roots in your teeth. So root, cement, pulp cavity, all of these terms are unrelated and they 100% cannot be right. So the only answer for 15 is actually B. So it says here, item 16 refers the following graph. Percent saturation of oxyhemoglobin. We have 76 to 50, go down like that. It says, which statement best explain the data illustrated by the graph? Smoking increases and then decreases the lungs carrying capacity for blood. I believe you could basically see that. So non-smoker, smoker, could basically see the information right there. Wait, I think I got something incorrect. Let me just look back at this here. Wait, I made a bit of a mistake. The answer for this is smoking reduce the oxygen carrying capacity for blood. Yes. So let's take a look back. 17 now. Item 17 refers the following diagram, which shows the final stage of the procedure for mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. What is the fourth step that must be taken in order to perform the procedure successfully? The actual answer to this is place the person on his back and press back his forehead with one hand. Yes, that's it. For 18, which are following are dependent. That's all three. Which are following are dependent on anaerobic, which anaerobic meaning that it does not require oxygen and respiration. Preparation of dough, that, yes, all of those. Yeah, now 19. Gaseous exchange takes place at, that would be C right here. It would be right here. Gaseous exchange. 20. The oxygen carrying capacity of red blood cells is facilitated by the presence of hemoglobin. Yes, correct. That is right. It can be the presence of platelets, it can be the size of red blood cells, and it can be the absence of nuclei in the cells. Oh, where we know. All right, we're at 21. The function of valves in the heart is to C. Prevent the backflow of blood. Which of the following components of blood transports urea? That is the plasma. The human circulatory system transports what? What do you guys think? The actual answer this is nutrients, nitrogenous waste, and oxygen. Yes, where we know 24. Which of the following is a function of the lymph nodes? Filtration, destruction of harmful organisms. Which of the following statements about the adaptation to the skeleton for our movements are true? It's actually all three of these here. It's actually all three. So the answer for this would be D essentially. Alright, we already know 26. We're already halfway, people. We're already halfway. So let's keep on moving down the line. Which of the following is the most severe damage caused by the prolonged wearing of high-heeled shoes? Misalignment of the bones in the feet. That could be a very much consequence, a negative consequence of prolonged wearing. It can be the widening space between the toes. It can be the development of corns. It could be development of corn, but if you're reading it over time very long, they could really cause misalignment or the misalignment of actually the bones to say essentially. So a ball and socket joint is located in the where arm meets the shoulder. Yes. So here we know. You could probably hardly see this here. The part label X right here, that is the Bowman's capsule. Where we know 29. After 30, we will stop here and we will start another one answering the remaining 30 questions. If you guys like videos like this, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. The main function of the vertebral column is to protect the spinal cord. It's easy as that. The ability of the human body to maintain a constant internal environment is called, we call that homeostasis. So anyways, people, thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to the Study Prep Guys channel, the Study Prep Guys Csec, and I will see you guys on the next video.